Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I doubt very much there's any ladies watching, but welcome to the Fabricio Day podcast. We will be doing a watch along. I'm just having a bit of trouble with the UFC app at the moment, just to pull it up here. But man, two slam KOs in the prelims. I haven't seen that before. I haven't seen it like twice in one show, but I have seen obviously have seen slam KOs. But it's give me 1 second. I'm just trying to get into this. Shout out to Cody Brundage. I'd picked against him only because he's let me down a bunch of times, and I'm glad he got the win. Yes, I'm glad he got the win. Although, again, it kind of goes to the same thing. Like, I feel that in that particular situation, that triangle was very close to being deep, and if it had been deep enough, like it was just a matter of chance, in that scenario. But I'm really glad he got the win. I like him. I've got a soft spot for him, but I just feel that, like I said, like he kind of always like snatches defeat from the jaws of victory. And he might have come close to doing that today with that triangle. But I'm really, really glad that he got the win. I've got a soft spot for him. I'm not going to lie. I think I liked because I watched his fight with Maximov, and it went back and forward. So it was an interesting fight. It was a good fight. So yeah, Oliver Ekman. Now my phone, like the phone that I usually use that has that app, is broken. So I will get that fixed soon, and we will be able to go from there. Okay. So I got the app working, thankfully. It was a race against time. Yeah, so that was pretty crazy. The Draka slam was a little bit different because like the legs were a little bit separated, and he actually slammed him on the side of his head, whereas the other one wasn't like that. The other one was a pretty deep triangle, actually. Just a sec. It was a pretty deep triangle, actually, and it could have got worse for him, but it didn't, so he was very lucky. Oliver Aikman says this is the start of the Brundage era. Perhaps, Oliver. The Australian summer, ladies and gentlemen, the Australian summer. Joseph says, hopefully we get to see some world-class grappling tonight. Yeah, I hope so too, man. I really do. SG says, greetings, Fabs. SG says, do slams like that change your guy? I think in particular the one the Draka did, that is not that would not be fun. That one was a particularly bad one in my opinion. It could have been a lot worse, but that was a bad one because he landed kind of like boom on the side of his head, and that can get bad. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. The other one was more like just a slam, like what it is, and probably takes the air out of you a little bit as well, more so than just knocks you out. But the other one was bad. The other one was like on the side of your head, could hurt your neck real bad as well. So yeah, they are a little bit different like that. I'm just pulling some stuff up here on the net for this fight. Yeah, so it could have been a lot worse. Those slams like that, it's rare to see. In particular, like I said, the one that Cody did, I think that one was a little bit bad because that triangle, man, it was very close to being cinched in with a guy with long legs. So that was good that he did it, and I'm glad that he did it, and I'm glad that he won. Good for him. I'll tell you now, I haven't picked very well in this card. I think this card's an interesting card because they're hard to pick. Like, the only one I think will win, I think Punahele should win this fight now that's coming up. I don't know anybody else on the card. Beneil and Arman, I'll go backwards and forwards. I think it's a hard one for me to pick. I can't like Arman could come out and starch him, and Loretta, can you come up for a second? It just the internet stopped, I think, because
Don't press anything, okay? Do not press anything.
I think I already pressed something. Then
God, why do you always do this? I asked you not now to do it all over again.
baby, I didn't know
Don't
what.
press. When you don't know, you don't press anything.
Can you not tell me if I could be live?
You're not live.
All right, can you find out if what's happened?
I don't know what's
I
happening.
think
You know
I think
what?
I have. Look, yeah, I have. Look, I'm still on. You're so mean to me.
What did you do?
I don't know what happened. It just looked like it was gone. This is what I put up with. I'm glad that it was caught on video. The abuse that I'm subjected to.
Are you still live?
Yeah, I'm still live. This is what happens to me.
Well, don't press anything.
Please go fund. Please pay for a GoFundMe, please.
I'm dealing with two little monsters down there.
Yeah, well, no, I'm just having problems with the. I'm actually having problems with the internet, but I thought that it was gone. One Willow says, "Hello, Sensei," in chat. I came to dab with the fab. Thank you, sir. Joseph says, "Coach, hopefully you can indulge my curious minds with a little breakdown of Whittaker versus Costa fight if it happens. I think Rob will smash him. I think Rob will absolutely annihilate him. Just way too fast. Costa doesn't deal well with the jab. Rob's got a good jab. I can't see a situation where Costa's going to outgrapple Rob. I don't see it. Like they're both physically strong guys. I don't give either one like a massive strength advantage over the other one. And so the speed advantage is to Rob, the fluidity in the striking is to Rob, and the fact that Rob can jab the way that he can, it will make Costa be reactive to him. Now, in Costa's defense, he can take a hiding. I'll give him that. Like he can be, and he's very, very game. And he does have a nice high guard. And lately, Rob's been attacking the head more than the body. And so he's got the skill set to do it. So maybe Costa could capitalize on something like that, but I don't see it. I don't see a clear path to victory for Costa outside of catching Rob with something, and I don't think he will. SG says Matt Hughes versus Carlos Newton slam was legendary. That was a crazy slam. That was a really crazy slam. And obviously the Quentin Rampage Jackson slam versus Ricardo Arona, that was a crazy one. And to me, the greatest slam finish, which wasn't really a great slam finish, was Fedor versus Randleman, where Fedor got slammed and he turned it around on Randleman. And yeah, so that was that to me, they're the craziest slams, you know. Then there was another one, Frank Shamrock versus like a Bulgarian or a Russian dude back in the day in the early UFC. And the guy won all his fights by guillotine, and Frank Shamrock put himself into the guillotine and picked the dude up and slammed him. Like it was really, really, really good. What I was saying earlier as well, man, the internet's just messed up here in my house. I can't get the fights up. What I was saying before, this fight's interesting because Arman could go out and just starch Beneil. I definitely think this. But Beneil is also very, very experienced. He's got a big background. He's got a lot of fights. He's a very good fighter in his own right. And he's got a lot of experience and a lot of big fight experience now. So it's just an contrast, you know, and you've got a young guy entering his peak, and you got a bit of an older guy kind of leaving his. So I think these things are make it for a very interesting thing. Joseph says, and Ikram versus Anthony Hernandez. I think that Ikram's going to get that job done. I do think that Ikram's going to get the job done. He's just a little bit tidier, in my opinion. I think Hernandez is a crazy, scrappy guy. He's really good. He's technical, and he's got a great gas tank. But so does Ikram, and he's got a massive background in it. I just see him a little bit tidier, a little bit more settled. It'll be a bit chaotic in the first round, but I think that Ikram will eventually just get the W, I think. And he hits a little bit harder. He's a little bit bigger. He's got heavy hands. He's got good timing on his punches and kicks. I don't see Hernandez being able to get him to the ground. I think that if Aliskerov can't get him to the ground, he's going to strike with him, and he's got heavier hands and better timing, I think. Oliver Ekman says if Brundage wouldn't have slammed him and KO'd him, then the other guy would have won. That's right, Oliver. That's right. Harry DeLuca says, do you think Arman will be the one to initiate the grappling similar to Gamrot, or will he let it play out on the feet? If you were their coaches, what would a brief game plan for them be? I think that it'll be harder. I can't say it that much as if I was one of the coaches, because I don't know them, the ins and outs of them, and I don't know what's happened in the camp. Sometimes, like, different things happen to people in the camp, so I can't say that. But I will say, like, I think it'll be hard for Dariush to take Tsarukyan down under normal circumstances. I think that'll be very, very hard. So I do think that initially, like, he might take him down off a scramble. He might take him down off some, but I don't think he's going to initiate like a wrestling match, so to speak. I think that will be initiated by Tsarukyan. And when you think of the fights that Tsarukyan has had and how close he's had these fights versus a Gamrot, versus Islam, you know, they're relatively close fights. One with Islam in particular, for who Islam is, it kind of speaks to the level of grappling that Arman Tsarukyan is capable of. So yeah, that's my take on that. Like, I think that I think Arman's going to try and overwhelm him initially, and if he can jump on him and hurt him, that's what he'll do, overwhelm him with strikes. I don't think he's going to try and take Dariush down to the ground, and Dariush is going to try and weather the storm, and he's got tidy boxing, and so I think that that's the way it's going to go. If Tsarukyan then can't get him out of there initially, he's probably going to start to try and take him down. But Dariush is a handful, man. Dariush is a real handful on the ground, like a proper handful. Oliver Ekman says, we still on, Fab. Coma says, this is what we come for. Bodybuilding News says, you are live, sir. Coach, we're still live. Oliver Ekman says, Fab's about to get snapped up. You know, this is the best. This is like a fight commentary in reverse. Fab's about to get snapped up. Oliver Ekman says, laugh out loud. SG says, not often we get to meet Fab's coach. Joseph says, move over, Kardashians. He tears her here. Como says, blink twice if we should send help. Wad Willow's laughing at me. Oliver Ekman says, caught in 4K. Harry DeLuca says, I stand with Fab. Thank you, guys. One Willow says, don't hurt our Fab woman. Como says, hashtag free Fab. One Willow says, Rob is a spear, not a jab. One Willow says, Sap slamming Nogueira. Sap slamming Nogueira was a crazy one. That was a fucking crazy one too. SG says, the Australian summer is melting the internet. Coma says, Andrade slamming Rose was brutal. Joseph says, another good slam is what the Hulk did to Loki in the first Avengers that changes a man. One Willow says, Rampage KO of Arona, yes. Harry DeLuca says, best slamming ever in MMA ever, just happened to Fab. Almost went through the floor in his house. Joseph says, at Harry DeLuca, point to you, sir. Laugh out loud. Yeah, it does get brutal, man. It does get brutal. I'm glad people witnessed how I'm treated in this house. People attack me left, right, and center. And that's not from one person. This kicks on all day, mate. I'm a punching bag for these people that I live with. And it is, I think, a racial thing because they're all Asians in this house except me. And I get treated like that, like what you guys just witnessed, you know? So it is it is a worrying concern, you know. So I'm glad I have you guys. So what do we got here? One Willow says cardio will might prevail at the end. In which fight, One Willow? In which fight are we talking about that cardio will prevail at the end? It the other thing, yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to do too much of a breakdown with the Rob like fight. I don't like to to talk about guys that I've worked with or anything like that in the past because it's just I'm not going to say things that I may or may not know or I don't like that. So I try not to say anything about the fights in that regard. Having said that, yeah, I don't see a, I don't see any way of Costa beating him outside catching him. I don't just do not see it. The fight that we're about to see is the Puna versus Dustin fight. And Oliver X-Men says ESPN has played the same ad this entire fight card. Harry DeLuca says whose fight is next? The one I just answered. And Puna is now, he's just about to walk out. He's like walked out now. He's just getting his eyes Vaseline and that. Joseph says UFC 300, Fabricio Ite versus Mrs. Ite at Abu Dhabi, Coach Fab on short notice. Fuck, I wouldn't want to take that fight. My wife has got bad temper, mate. And she's got like those, like, she's a person of the step originally, so she's got like thick joints. Look, my joints aren't that thick, man. I've got long, skinny arms. She's got like thick joints. She's a person of the step. She's very, she actually is really physically strong. So, no, I wouldn't want that fight. Joseph says Mike Bell is the judge. Oliver Ekman says that really sucks, Fab, that you have to deal with these injustices. Chill says, Coach, you've said that Masvidal is one of your favorite fighters. He's one of my favorite too. I've always thought he was one of the most clever fighters ever in ways I can't even understand. I think he's like, the thing is, he's like a proper student of the game, like, or he was. I don't know now, but he understands fighting, which is a lot of people don't, and you can tell he's around fighting a lot. Like some fighters, they fight and then they don't watch fights, they don't go to training sessions unless they have to go and train, which is fine. It's just that everyone's different. But I think you just absorb that by osmosis, and so you have a library of things in your head when you're watching that. And he definitely is that. Like he follows collegiate wrestling. He is a fan of boxing. Like he follows boxing, he understands boxing, and that this helps massively. So that helps your fight IQ, I think, immensely. Joseph says, also, all jokes aside, I want to see Soriano improvement. I think he's ready to move to a ranked opponent. Yeah, but he hasn't had a lot of wins, man. He hasn't had a lot of wins. I'm a fan of Soriano as well. I think he's not far off. Like if he gets a couple of things right, I think he could have been really, really good. But he kind of never moved past being like a boxer wrestler kind of guy. You know what I mean? And so he's a brown belt in judo as well, but I think that's kind of what's held him back. Now, if he can add a few wrinkles to that game, I'm a fan, mate. I'm a big fan. One Willow says Ikram has a third lung. Now he's got very good cardio. Yeah, he does. But you know what it is? Actually, I was talking to one of the boys who's competing today at Grappling Industries in the black belt division. Very good grappler. He wrestled his whole life. He wrestled, blah blah blah. But one of the things it does, about to start now the fights with Ikram, and I'll probably come back to Ikram's third lung in a second. The ring girl's walking out. And we're off, guys. There's no glove touch. 56, 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 50. Nice. Punahele in the patented southpaw stance of his. Stoltz was with a nice kind of karate, kung fu kind of stance. Staying out of the way of the power shots. Goes looking. Oh, he gets hit with a little right hand by Punahele. Punahele hits him with a left. Punahele hits him again with another left. So Stoltz was already taking a few big shots from Punahele, but he's working the body with front kicks. This is very good work from Stoltz on the southpaw Punahele. So whenever you're standing like opposite stances like that to each other, the body's open for that front kick down the middle. and Stoltzfus is doing a good job of doing that. And you got to take some of the steam away from Punahele because it's very, very powerful, very powerful. And he got kicked in the balls. Did Puna? So Stoltz has obviously done his homework because he's trying to catch him with that knee coming up the middle for Punahele, but that time he got him in the nuts. Punahele's a big puncher, man. He's already landed some big shots. But Stoltz was doing a good job of working the body here, which Punahele had a lot of problems with against Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen landed big shots to the body of Punahele, and that created a massive issues for him. And the loss subsequently came off the back of that. But if Punahele can kind of deal with these kicks, I think kicking would help immensely. He's got very good takedown defense. Oh, big left hook over the top of Punahele. Nice little front kick to the legs by Stoltzfus. I think if Punahele could add a few more kicks to his own game, it would stifle the kicks of Stoltzfus and allow him to get into a range where he'd be able to punch more comfortably. Because this guy's like, he's like a little bit of, he's like Brad Tavares, but a little bit faster and southpaw. But I think Brad Tavares is more well-rounded. It's just a funny thing. He's actually like a little bit faster, punches a little harder than Tavares. But Tavares can use his kicks, and then then after that they're very similar. So if he starts using his kicks a little more, I think he's going to be able to do quite a bit with it. Stoltz first up the middle again with that right kick, and Soriano has no answer for it. Soriano has had no answer for this front kick down the middle. And that'll start to take a lot of the power out of the punches. So Stoltzfus wrestled as well. He came up in an ex-Amish household. So that's an interesting little thing. But Soriano has a good wrestling background. He's and he's a judo brown belt. So interesting. I really like the potential that Soriano has, but now at 31 years old, it's he's behind the eight ball a little bit. He really would. Oh, the traded a right hand. Dustin landed a right hand on Puna, and Puna landed a left hand on the way back, but Puna just cracks a little harder than Stoltz was at this stage of the fight. At 134 of the fight left in the first round, he cracks a little harder. As this fight progresses, though, I don't know that he's going to continue to crack as hard, especially eating those front kicks up the middle. Again, there are too many. He's landing way too many. You can see that Puna has already slowed down. He has already slowed down. Those front kicks, man, up the middle, do not underestimate them. They do take the gas out of you. Not only do they take the gas, he lands another. Every time he hits him, though, every time he hits Stoltzfus, it like rattles him, it rattles him bad. Stoltzfus looking for a single leg, goes looking to get behind him, gets behind him, picks Punahele up, takes him down. Nice work. In those situations, I think jumping to the other side of the legs and controlling the hips is really, really good. That's my opinion, because then you have the wrist ride on the other side. But who am I to say? 32 seconds to go. Stoltzfus is, in my opinion, running away with this round a little bit. Like Puna has landed the harder shots for sure, but Stoltzfus is, in my opinion, just doing a better job in this round. It's hard to gauge damage in and of itself, because those front kicks up the middle are definitely wearing on Puna for sure. Oh, those exchanges, man. 2, 1. Oh! Stoltzfus drops Puna right on the buzzer. This is no good for Puna, and I do believe that Stoltzfus may have stolen the round with that. I was talking to one of the boys, so when we're talking about Ikram and his third lung, when we're talking about that, like say you do jiu-jitsu comps or you do wrestling comps, and for argument's sake, The jiu-jitsu comps black belts 10-minute rounds, like wrestling say 6-minute rounds. For argument's sake, let's say let's call them 5-minute rounds. Who gives a shit? Like when you think of these things, so you think the sport of wrestling, grappling, whatever is a 5-minute round, right? But if you have 5 matches in a day, that could take over, that could be over a period of 2 hours, where you have 5, 6, 7, 8, 10-minute matches, what have you, depending on the style. So the type of cardio that you develop specifically for combat over a long, long time is really, really, really it's very hard to catch up to that kind of cardio. The guys that compete and have to compete 3 or 4 times in a day is big. Loose right hand. Boom. Down the middle. And Pune loses that round like that. And I had this guy down as a fucking lock to win this fight. Punahele. But man, Stoltzfus is doing a great job of just controlling this distance with the front. And he's got nice tidy punches, nice tidy kicks. I didn't pick him. I did not pick him to win this fight. And Punahele doesn't do well once he's been hurt and the cardio starts to come into play. He doesn't do that well. He's a power puncher that if you stand in front of him and he hits you, you stay hit. Do not underestimate those front kicks down the middle. Yeah, so the guys that are used to doing that kind of cardio, like someone like Ikram, but Ikram doesn't just do grappling, like they fight like this, you know what I mean? So you could have a few fights over the course of a weekend, that requires a level of cardio for you to keep that kind of intensity and be able to replicate that intensity over and over. So it's definitely very interesting, and you might, sometimes you get a situation where it's almost you're getting shark tanked. I just beat my opponent I barely beat him, it's just a super close match, lots of scrambles. I'm gassed out, but now I'm grappling you or fighting you if it's combat sambo, and you had a bye for the first match, so you're coming at me like super duper ready to go. I'm coming at you fatigued, and I've got to overcome that. And you might have done that 20, 30 times in your career if you've been doing these sports from when you're a little kid. Oliver Ekman says Stoltzfus kind of looks like Tom Hardy. So they're going here. Yeah, Punahele is definitely slowed down, and Stoltzfus is going to do more of the same, where he's going to land more front kicks up the middle. And man, he could even get the finish on Pune, I think, unfortunately. Oh, that right kick to the body was huge. Big left hand by Punahele. Right hook by Stoltzfus lands after an uppercut. He goes looking for a double leg, picks Punahele up. That was fantastic work. Really, really, really good work there. He's looking to take the back. Man, Stoltzfus, I'm super impressed by him. I'm super impressed. He's going to be a problem for some of these guys. I didn't think, and I do beg your pardon, Stoltzfus, I did not pick you at all. And I think you, like watching you fight right now, like you could be a problem for some guys in this division. Like how you're fighting right now against Punahele is very, very impressive. He lost a decision against Kyle Daukus. He lost a submission against Rodolfo Vieira. He lost a submission versus Gerald Meerschaert, has a win over Dwight Grant, and a loss against Abus Magomedov by knockout. In fairness to him, he kind of lost to each one of these guys to their strengths. Do you know what I mean? So, he's going to finish Puna. He's going to finish him. He's got the deep, deep rear naked choke in. He's going to finish. Punahele is not going to get out of this. He's controlled the hips. It's very deep. It looks to be on the chin, but on the chin is not going to be good enough. I think he's going to finish. Punahele is still doing a good job of fighting that top hand, but now, he's going to switch to that Captain America grip, and he's done here. If Punahele survives this, No, it's under the throat. It's under the neck. And that's a wrap. Super strong guy, man. If he like when I read that about him, that he was raised in a let me see here. Yeah. It says Stoltzfus grew up in Pennsylvania Dutch community outside of Bronx, Pennsylvania, to former Amish parents. Stoltzfus started folk style wrestling as a child and moved to Tang Soo Do Kung Fu and other martial arts growing up. If you watch the Amish documentaries, man, and the dudes are like, they just like, I'm not one of these guys where I have fucking strong manly hands, but you see these dudes that are just like out there working on the land, from when they're little, and they do have that crazy farmer strength, man. So yeah, no, it's just a funny thing. But yeah, and then you wrestle from when you're a little kid. But yeah, he's lost to guys in the past, and generally he, like when you're watching it, he's lost to guys that kind of have a specialty, and he's lost to that specialty, if that makes sense. So that's an interesting thing. And Punahele, like I said, is more of a slugger, is more of a guy with good wrestling that is hard to take down and can bang. And so, like now in hindsight, you can see that, but I would never have picked it. Nor did the odds makers. I thought Puna was going to catch him, hurt him, and knock him out. And he was doing a good job of it at the start. But this guy obviously came in very, very prepared. He understood what to do and he understood the assignment. So that was very impressive on his part. And it was very impressive the way that he used the front kick up the middle. This is an important thing. Whenever you have a situation where you're facing a guy that has opposite stance to you, and he's a grappler or primarily a boxer, the front kick down the middle, that's one of the best things you can use. One of the best things. And it absolutely takes the wind out of your sails. The thing he has is that, which now that he's won this fight, like you may see this matchup in the future, is this win over Joseph Pfeiffer, where it was elbow dislocation for Joe Pfeiffer. Like Joe Pfeiffer got his elbow dislocated. And it was a similar sort of thing. Like on that mat return, he got picked up and dumped, did Pfeiffer. And his arm dislocated. And it was kind of like a freak injury in that scenario. It was in the Dana White Contender Series. But it was pretty crazy like that. I thought Joe Pfeiffer was probably the better fighter of the two, but it is what it is, man. So credit to him for coming out. Punahele is a tough character, man. I think he's one of those guys, kind of like Cody Brundage, where I feel he should be better than what he is. And I say this with no disrespect intended. I think like they just they haven't found quite the avenue to take, or they haven't really been able to put things together. And whilst Cody got the win today, I didn't see anything in that game necessarily that makes me go, fuck, this guy's like changed and grown from that and fixed the things that he needed to fix. He was still Cody in there. And he still got the triangle put on him, which is alarming. And he slammed him and he won, but it's still alarming to get put into a triangle like that and not recognize the stages prior to it. So I think that is a problem. Amish says, is the Whitaker versus Costa rumor true? I don't know. If so, what's your opinion? Like I said earlier, I think Rob smashes him. I don't see that fight even being close. I'm not going to go into too much, but I'll just say like why I say that is I don't see any clear advantages for Costa in that fight. I don't think he'd be stronger, if at all, than Rob. I think that Rob will be much faster with the jab, and Costa's traditionally had problems with the jab. I think he's more dynamic with his kicks. It's going to be hard for Costa to bridge the gap to getting close to hit Rob, just the way that Rob moves. So I think that's all going to be a problem for Costa. I don't see Costa being able to out wrestle Rob. So I don't really see a situation. If anything, Rob, just because his ability to jab and keep Costa's hands high are going to set up the double legs for him. One thing that Costa can do though is take a fucking beating, man. He's very, 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 very hard man, tough man. But I see this fight going more or less the same way as the Vittori fight, to be honest with you, the Robin Vittori fight. Um, Oliver Ekman says, there's an Amish community up north from where I live. Once seen a carriage pulled over by a cop. um, Oliver Ekman, I don't know. Like I've never really. There's like a restaurant thing about an hour from where I live that they reckon is like from an Amish background and that. But I've never really had much to do with like them culturally or anything like that. I don't know if we have huge Amish communities here in Australia. Leighton J says Brendan Allen is also gunning for the Rob matchup. Again, I don't. I think honestly, I think out of the two, Brendan Allen has not more of a chance of beating Rob because I don't think Rob's a good matchup for him, to be honest with you. But I think Rob beats him and beats him soundly. I think Brendan Allen gets hit a bit too much and it's not a good thing. But like Brendan Allen has different things going for him that Costa doesn't. Brendan Allen, at least, is, in my opinion, he has really good jiu-jitsu. Like that's an avenue. It'd be hard for Brendan Allen to get Rob to the ground and keep him there. But he at least has good jiu-jitsu. You know, he's not very fast, which is a big problem, you know, and speed kills, especially in a division where, you know, the heavier you go, the more speed even matters because, like, the heavier guys aren't as fast. And so you get a guy that was even faster welterweight like Rob, it's going to be a problem. You know, it's going to be a big problem. And Brendan is not he's not a really fast middleweight. And he gets hit. So this is going to be a problem. And then I think that it's hard for him to get to a position where he's going to be able to use the takedowns or anything against Rob. I don't see that happening. But at least he's busy as well. Like he's busy. He fights 3 times a year on average, which is huge. And that's a big advantage because you're a young man. He's a young man coming through, and these guys getting better in between their fights when they're younger. You don't know how much better they're getting. And you don't know if he's hitting his peak right now, and you don't know where these other guys are by the time they fight as far as their peaks is concerned. So these are very important things. You know, they're different things. So this Brendan Allen fight, if anything, I think is in a way more dangerous for Rob than the Costa fight, and without as much return. I don't think that there's as much return for him with the thing. But I don't know what a win over Costa does either. Costa has a win over Rockhold, over a veteran Rockhold too, like quite a few years ago, like 2 years ago or something. You know, it's a long, long time. So I think Brendan Allen, in that regard, will probably be a little more dangerous than Costa. But I don't see either one of them being able to beat him, to be honest. They seem like a solid community, says Ekman about the Amish we're talking about. Watch the video of Amish moving a barn by hand, and Oliver Ekman says crazy. Yeah, I think now who do we have next? Sorry, just so we can keep we got Clay Guida versus Joaquim Silva. One of the things I don't like about this matchup has been part of like the main card is, and I'm a fan of him. Clay Guida is like 40 something, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 41. Is I don't know what you do with either one of these guys should they win. The other fellow, Joaquim, is 34. He's kind of got like win-loss. His last loss was against Arman Tsarukyan in the 3rd round by TKO. He lost that. Then he's got, you know, so I don't know what you do with him, and I don't know what you do with Clay Guida at 41 years old. I don't know. And he's got kind of, his last fight is a loss against Rafa Garcia, and I don't know, you know what I mean? Again, like there's He's got like win loss, win loss, win loss. But yeah, I don't know what you do with either one of these guys. They're not going to fight and challenge for a lightweight or a featherweight belt, you know what I mean, or anything like that. Or so I don't know. Or a lightweight they're fighting for, but yeah, I don't know what they do with either one of them. Yeah, so the thing I was saying earlier about that is like about the cardio thing. You get guys like if you go watch world juniors or world seniors in freestyle wrestling or Greco-Roman wrestling or judo or whatever, like you'll have guys that'll do 4 matches at a world level. We're talking about at a world level, you'll do 4 or 5 matches, man, and these are 6 minute matches, and they get stretched out longer too because there's a break in play or whatever, da 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 da. Depending on the whatever the however the freestyle wrestling rules are for that year. But let's say it's 6 minute matches and they get stretched out, you know what I mean? Because there's a bad call and they stop, there's a challenge or, this happens, whatever. Anyways, the 6 minute matches, say, for argument's sake. And dudes have like 4 or 5 of them over a course of a few hours, but still, like that's like you redlining your body for 6 minutes, right? Every every 15 to half an hour for 2 hours. It's very, very hard. And that's a different type of endurance, man, that you have. It's not just like anaerobic lactic sport. It's like a level of cardiovascular endurance that you have to have that's very, very gnarly, man. And mental fortitude and ability to concentrate and focus for 3 4 hours, like you have to be on, so it's very, very difficult. And you see that's why like a guy like Ikram, when you see them, they have a different cardio ability and he's able to pace himself really, really well. Khabib is more like, and Ikram will probably develop this more and more as his career progresses, but Khabib will hit you like at this pace and so will Islam. Whereas Ikram's very, very methodical, even more so, I believe, even more so, I think, than Islam. He's very, very methodical in his approach, So I don't know that Hernandez is going to beat him. I really don't. Outside of maybe landing a shot on him, you know what I mean? Just catching him with it. I don't know. I don't know as well what's happening because I think they're talking about Costa and Whitaker in March, right? So from now to March, what we're in start of December, so what's that? January, February, March is 3 months and all of December, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Anything could happen, in a training camp, anything could happen with other movement in the division. So who knows who's going to fight who? It's a long, long time away. Like anything could happen. People like Strickland and DDP are meant to fight. One of them could get injured. Someone fights for an interim belt. Fuck. Anything could happen, anything could happen. So I don't know if, who, what is going to fight. There's guys like Brendan Allen and that they're like young and ready to fight. This is a huge thing. Like if someone was to pull out, they'll put their hand up and they're ready to fight. So anything could happen with this division at this point. Especially when there's not many young, hungry guys coming through like him in that division. There's not many 26, 27, 28-year-olds that are ready to fight. Like they're ready to go, ready to fight right now. So this is different as well. He's Clay Guida. He's a character, man. He's running out now. I don't even understand how you can be so amped like he is right now. Like he's so amped. I'd be so tired, man. I'm getting tired just watching him walk out. He's 41 years old. His face looks younger than what it did when he was like in his 30s. I can't believe how amped this guy is. He must have had like 1,000,000 fights, dude. I don't even know how many fights this guy's had. Let's look it up. Dude, he's had 61 professional fights. 61 professional fights. 38 wins, 7 by knockout, 14 by submission, 16 by decision, 1 unknown. Losses 23 by knockout, 2 by submission, 11 by decision, 9 unknown, 1. That's so many fights. I don't even know how many fights that must have been in the UFC too. Like a lot, a lot. This guy fought in the UFC. So he first debuted in the UFC in 2006. So he debuted in 2006. It is now 2023 and the guy's still there. So he must be very close to the most fights in the UFC. Like he'd have to be so close. Because I can't even imagine like having that. It's ridiculous. Yeah, Chill says Clay's not human. Oliver Ekman says he's pumped. Nah, he's so amped. Dude, I would be so lactic right now. Like, I'd be cramping up from lactic acid from that little walkout that he did. That walkout, mate. You don't see those walkouts, mate. Yeah, they're pretty much the same, like height, weight. Clay Guida's actually got a reach advantage on Silva, but 41 to 34, all things being equal, is a big advantage. Like 34 has a big advantage over 41, but fuck knows with the UFCs and other things like. But generally, yeah, it's a big advantage for a younger man, especially in those ages. And that's why I say with Tsarukyan as well and Dariush, like you don't know, like it's like a real fickle thing. Like you can be 33, 34, 35, boom, you're gone from your prime. You're just gone. You're still a great fighter, but you're just a few levels below what you were, or even like a small percentage below what you were. Chill says in his spare time, Clay flies around in his spaceship scaring US Air Force pilots. Air Force pilots. He's a maniac. He's a madman. I remember he used to live in an RV. I don't know if he still does. I love how jacked this guy looks at 41 with crazy cardio. It's insane. Mark Smith is out in the middle of the octagon. Round 1 is about to begin. The ring girl threw a right hand down the middle. Okay, we're off, guys. And 57, 56, 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 50. And we're off. Both men in the orthodox stance. Clay doubles up on the jab, but hits nothing but air, kind of controlling the center of the octagon a little bit. Joaquim Silva swings and a miss on the left hook. Joaquim Silva moves like he's in a video game. It's funny. It's like pixels. He's a little bit stiff the way he moves. He's throwing me off. It makes me think he's in a video game. Goes looking for a left inside leg kick. Does Clay Guido to try and hit with the overhand right. Who made that really famous was Dan Henderson. Used to throw that all the time. Used to throw an inside left kick to a big overhand right. Goes looking for a left hook. Does Clay Guida. Seems to have just scratched the chin of Silva before he dropped for a takedown. Jabs does. He's still looking for the jabs. Is Clay Guida. Oh, hits him with a little left hook, does Clay Guida. Big right hand by Clay Guida and misses, but he did catch him with a little left hook. Joaquim Silva goes looking for a left high kick. He's controlling the center of the octagon. He has moved Clay Guida to the peripheries of the octagon. Clay Guida is doing, like, he's got heaps of movement, heaps of action, but he hasn't actually landed much, and neither has Joaquim Silva. For all the movement these two have done, there's not much shots have landed. This is not a criticism, just an observation. I'm just letting you know. Oh, swings with a big right hand, does Clay Guida. Clay Guida might find a home for one of these shots. He's throwing like these tight right and left hooks. Lead left hook from Clay Guida. Right kick to the leg by Joaquim. Joaquim goes looking for a left hook himself. Oh, nice exchange of combinations by both men. Clay Guida throws a left hook, but Joaquim Silva has the phone in his hand, so to not let the shots get through. SG, when you say how does he move like that, you mean how does he have perpetual range, like perpetual movement? And SG says he's 41 and moves like a flyweight. I mean, Clay Guida always fought like this. It's strange, you know what I mean, that he still can do this kind of output at 41. So it's very, very impressive that he can do that. He just doesn't stop moving, man. He just seems like and his output is insane. He hits him with the right hand. He hits Joaquim Silva with the right hand, does 41-year-old Clay Guida. Left, right by Clay Guida. Did Joaquim Silva, I don't know if Joaquim Silva might have hit Clay Guida then. I think he might have dropped him. He's hurt him. I think he's hurt him. Yeah. Clay Guida's holding onto a leg and he's getting pummeled. Joaquim Silva's now taking his back with, hasn't got the hooks in, but he's behind him with 1 minute to go. I think this is going to be the wrap. Clay Guida's defending himself. He is, but Joaquim's landing more shots than absolutely necessary. Big left hook landed by Joaquim Silva. Big elbow over the top by Joaquim. Clay Guida drops in on a single leg again. Silva continues to hit him on the ear. He gets up with a quarter Nelson, does Silva. Clay Guida standing straight up now. Makes some space to Silva and lands an elbow. Guida answers that with a left knee to the liver of Silva. Now he's got double underhooks, having survived a barrage and onslaught of strikes, did Clay Guida. And he has now double underhooks on Silva. I don't know if Silva blew his load there on that ground and pound, which Guida survived. Now Guida's looking for a single leg. He's looking to run the pipe, and he did a snatch single, but Silva's back up to his feet. Unbelievable cardio by Clay Guida, because I'm going to tell you this. To survive getting hit the way he did, and then come back, hit a takedown, finish the takedown, your cardio has to be unreal level, like unreal fucking level. You do not understand this. This is a guy that fought pedal to the metal from the start of this fight, gets hurt, gets like hit and continued to get hit to a point that he almost looked like he was going to get finished, lost that round, but then he comes back towards the end of that round and finishes a takedown, and he had a fight for it. Very, very impressive level of cardio and resilience and physical strength at 41. Unbelievable work. Well done, Clay Guida. And he's not stopping his Clay Guida. Unbelievable. And Joaquim Silva as well, at 34 years old, was no spring chicken. Landed a good shot on Guida there and could have changed the outcome of this fight. Guida back to pressing immediately. Blocks a combination from Joaquim Silva. Joaquim Silva goes looking for a lead uppercut. No luck on it. They both exchange a small combination. Guida goes looking for a left high kick and misses after the left hook. Joaquim Silva throws a little check hook on on Guida. Guida takes it on the gloves. Joaquim's looking for a big right uppercut again. I think he's looking for the level change from Guida so he can throw his uppercut up the middle. Did a good job of moving back so Guida couldn't set up the takedown. Nice body kick by Guida. Guida goes looking for the single leg. He's in deep. He's got the takedown. He takes Silva down. Silva's up though and has a guillotine on Guida. He could be looking for like a modified anaconda or Schultz choke from this position, but Guida does a good job of getting out of it. However, he's now in side control. The energy expenditure on that takedown attempt would have been huge. And now Guida is on his side with Joaquim Silva on top of him, and Joaquim Silva has landed a few strikes now. Guida's up now. He was able to use a single leg to get back to his feet. Guida with a few strikes to the body, but big shots landing by Silva. Big knees landed by Silva. Silva's absolutely hurt. Guida hits him with an overhand right. Big right hand lands again by Silva. Guida's like something out of a horror film. He continues to come forward after eating knee after knee and right hands by Silva. Now he shoots a double leg. Silva is in deep on a guillotine with an arm in guillotine. Guida is not going the right way. He's trying to slam out of this guillotine and it's not going to work. He has to spin to his right and push his right shoulder down into the guillotine. That's the only way. He shakes out of the guillotine. Does Guida with inhumane feats of strength. Well done, Guida. Now he's landing knees to the body of Silva. 2 minutes and 33 seconds to go. The energy expenditure once again that he would have had to use to shoot the double leg and get out of that guillotine the way he did, absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. He's looking to be able to drag Joaquim Silva back down to the mat. He's got a Joaquim Silva is looking for a kind of Kimura, but Guida put his head back in the hole, and that makes it a little bit harder to be able to establish the grips for a Kimura from that position. Maybe a reverse crossface from here would be good. Guida is down on both his knees. This is incredibly taxing endurance-wise for Clay Guida to be like just the effort that this requires for you to do. He's looking for a snatch single here. He's not going to get it, I don't think. He's got the underhook, does Silva. This is incredibly taxing in particular for Silva, for Guida here. Incredibly taxing. So he's hit the double leg, and Joaquim Silva is able to get back to his feet. He does it, and he does it with ease. Looking for a modified kind of broomstick sweep here is Guida. I don't think Guida's going to get it. Great defense here by Silva. Puts his back to the fence, and he's looking for the underhook. And again, Silva with unbelievable feats of endurance and strength hits deep on the double again. Picks up Joaquim Silva deep in the second round after Silva just keeps getting back up. And unbelievable feats of cardio and strength by Clay Guida. Good knees to the legs by Clay Guida. He's still defending quite well, is Joaquim Silva. Guida's just putting the pressure on him. I'll tell you something. It is incredibly taxing. If you take someone down off a double leg and they just pop back up. SG says, we can only wish to have half of his stamina at that age. I would wish to have half of that stamina at any age. It would be incredible. Like It's if you take someone down off a double leg and they just pop back up, the second time you do it, like in that same round, it's way harder. And the third time you do it, it's probably impossible to get. I'd have to have Sam to try and figure out the stats on that, like on you reshooting a double leg like this. So I think it might be around a piece here. Maybe. I don't know how they're scoring this second round because that last part will stay in the judges' heads. But he landed some shots, did Joaquim Silva in that round. But Guida just walked straight through him like nothing happened. SG says chain wrestling is like doing 20 deadlifts in 30 seconds. Yeah, it's fucking harder than that. You know what I mean? It's harder than that. It's really, really, really hard to do that. Really hard, especially after you've eaten big shots, man. You once you've eaten a few big shots like that, yeah. So we're about to kick off again, and we're off for what I believe to be the third round, unless I'm mistaken. Yeah, third round. 50, 49, 48, 47, 46, 45. Front kicks up the middle by a Silva. Guida says, I don't care about your front kicks up the middle. I'm just going to wade through them. SG says, how do these guys not slip discs chain wrestling? They probably do, man. They probably do. Like a lot of these guys' backs are fucked at the end of it. You know what I mean? On backwards and forwards. Big overhand right by Guida. The volume is still very much there by Guida, and there's a little bit less bouncing around from him. But he lands a good leg kick, does Guida. Bites on the feint, does Guida, and Silva's able to throw a front kick up the middle. These front kicks are very, very important in just slowing down the pace and breaking up the rhythm of a guy that wants to come forward, like a Clay Guida. Clay Guida is looking for that overhand right after the left inside kick big time. He's looking for it. Silva's doing a great job of blocking that left hook. Silva circling away from Clay Guida. Nice front kick by Silva. Oh, left high kick by Silva partially lands. I think it partially landed. I couldn't see it clearly. 3 minutes and 15 seconds to go. Oh, nice little short uppercut lands by Joaquim Silva. Has no effect whatsoever on Clay Guida. Deep in the third round. 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Nice little front kick by Joaquim Silva. Nice, again, little front kick by Joaquim Silva. Clay Guida skirting the peripheries of the octagon. Just even the way he's moving there, where he's having to move backwards a lot in this round, is incredibly taxing. Incredibly taxing when you're moving backwards in a fight. And when he moves forward, it's explosive and big double legs and big movements. His fight style is incredibly taxing for anyone, any age, let alone if you're 41. Defending the deep single is Silva. Guida continues to fight for that single leg. Silva continues to push his head down. Doing a good job of keeping the head on the inside and pushing it down, creating an arch in Clay Guida's back, which makes it very difficult to finish a takedown. Now he's moved Clay back. His back is against the cage. It's going to be incredibly difficult for Guida to finish this takedown. And the exertion that this would be like ridiculous. Clay Guida continues to fight for that single leg. He's down on one knee. I don't know if Joaquim is looking for some sort of front choke here. I don't think he is. Now he's got to be mindful of continuing to defend that single leg from Clay Guida, the real zombie. Nice little elbow lands by Silva. Guida lands a couple of knees. Joaquim Silva frames on him. Clay Guida shoots once again on the single leg. So Silva's landed more significant strikes in this round than Clay Guida has, but Clay Guida's holding on to that single leg. Silva's able to move him off him by using like a kind of modified head arm guillotine kind of thing. It's in pretty deep. It's in deep. I don't think he has it because the elbow's still in. The elbow's still in. Now Guida's trying to get to his back, which will alleviate some of this choke. Right, but he's got an arm, he's got a leg in. Yeah, he's out of the choke. The amount of effort that would have fucking required, the energy expenditure that's like paying $100 for something that costs $20. Knees up the middle by Guida. They're hugging. Both guys are hugging. I don't know who won that fight. Joseph says, I swear Clay Guida trains up there at K2 with that type of gas tank. SG said, Clay's ready for 3 more rounds. Yeah, that was pretty gnarly, man, to see him walk through shots. At 41 years old, just walk through these big shots. No effect. Crazy cardio, crazy strength. Joaquim Silva looks jacked as shit himself. Great fight, guys. Good on yous. Well done. I don't know who won that fight. Oh, my God. Now, who do we have next? This is going to be an interesting one. Actually, really looking forward to the Sean Brady versus Kelvin Gastelum fight. It's going to be interesting to me. If Sean can't get him down to the ground, Gastelum's going to bash him, But I don't know. Like, one thing is to make the weight is one thing, The other thing is to rehydrate properly. The making of the weight is not always the hardest thing. It's how you recover from the weight cut. So all of that's going to be interesting. I rewatched the Bilal Muhammad Sean Brady fight, and Muhammad doesn't have the same snap and movement that Gastelum has. He just doesn't. Gastelum's like legit good like that, like the way he can move in and out. He's got good vision. He's able to throw the big left hand, and he's quick. But I don't know. I don't know what he's going to look like coming back to welterweight at this point. Yeah, I thought Joaquim Silva won. I did. Yeah. I would have, it was close, but I would think that it'd have to be a bit of a gift for Clay Guida to give him that win. That was a fucking crazy fight. Oh, man. Yeah. It was interesting to say the least. This fight I'm interested in, the one that's coming up now. Because Sean Brady, man, on the ground, he's really, really good. He's got some really good wins against some really good guys, and he's got some really good wins in grappling as well. He's very, 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 very competent grappler. Very competent. You don't beat Craig Jones you don't even survive against Craig Jones if you're not a sensation. You would have to be a sensational world-class grappler to survive against Craig Jones on the ground. Like a really, really good world-class grappler. That's just to survive. To have a win over him in any shape, way, or form is impossible, I think, if you're an MMA fighter. And he's done it. So I'm very impressed by that. I'm impressed that Cody Brundage has that win. I really am. So that's That's an interesting one. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm just reading up some things. Okay. Okay, Coma says Gastelum's about to smash. I do believe that if Brady can't get him down, which watching the Bilal Muhammad fight, it is a possibility that he can't get him down. I think Gastelum will bash him on the feet. I do think that. Provided the Gastelum looks good at welterweight. And this is why it stops me from being able to really pick is I don't know what he's going to look like at welterweight. But if he looks close to what he's capable of looking, I think it's going to be a big fucking problem for Sean Brady. It's just not a good matchup. Like a good Gastelum I'm talking about. Like Gastelum looking good, it's going to be a problem. Joseph says, I want Clay Guida's gas tank for Christmas. Imagine how easy rolling around if I had that. Coma says, no more Fatsalam. Kelvin made weight easy. Watch out for the new old mythical fighter, Fitsalam. Fitsalam. Yeah, making weight is not the same as, I don't know how he's going to look, So I can't say anything until I see what he looks like. Joseph says, and Jesus by his side to win against Craig Jones. Joseph says, Fat Salam Lafala, come on, man. He's just built different. Leighton says, I wonder where Jack Della is going to play out throughout these few big welterweight fights upcoming. I don't know. I think a lot of it's got to do with how this fight goes as well. I'm very interested, for obvious reasons, but a lot of it depends, like maybe Sean Brady goes out there and beats Gastelum, and that's a different story again. This is going to be interesting. Like I do think that, like, if you can't get him down, but I don't know either. I don't know. Like, it surprised me as well. Again, I don't know how they're going to look by the time they both get in the octagon, but it surprised me as well because they're about the same height, and Sean Brady looked big. Like, he looked like a big fucking dude. Like, he didn't like. A lot of the times, Gastelum is shorter, but he's a big guy, man. If I've been around him, we filmed the heavy hitters thing, and he was there every day, so I saw him every day, and he's a big dude, like a big fucking dude. And Brady at the weigh-ins, they both looked big, but Brady, if anything, looked maybe even bigger. So it's going to be interesting to see what they both look like in the octagon. Coma says, let's go, Kelvin. You can have all the nachos if you win. How dare you, sir? How dare you? Joseph says, I still think Kelvin moving down at his age is not the best move. But what do I know? We shall see tonight, says Joseph. Yeah, well, let's see. That's what I'm saying. That's why there's a big asterisk next to that. I don't know what he's going to look like. I wouldn't bet money on something like this, like that. I don't know. Same as the Jalen Turner one. I don't know what he's going to look like making weight on such short notice. I don't know. Maybe he was already training for a fight. Maybe he wasn't. I don't know. Leighton J says, UFC signing Michael Venom Page could be interesting. Absolutely. Joseph says, Kelvin's head covers 70% of the earth. Coma says, beautiful big head. Yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting to see. One thing Kelvin can do, though, is fucking crack. He can really hit, and he can really hit hard. But I will say this as well. The welterweights are going to move faster than the middleweights. And whilst he's been smaller than most of the middleweights, and he has fought a who's who of middleweights, I'll give him that. I will give him that. But at the same time, like, some of the guys he's fought, like, then lost to, like Darren Till and Jack Hermanson, haven't been doing the best. Ian Heinisch has a win over. He hasn't been doing the best. And the Chris Curtis fight, to be honest with you, like, that fight, I don't think he would have won that if it wasn't for the head clash. So I'm not entirely sold on what he's going to look like at welterweight until I see him. So I reserve my right to pick anything. Joseph says Jalen Turner has that Michael Chiesa syndrome. Coma says almost like the perfect spherical one Fab has. It's not mine. I got a cone head, dude. I don't have a actually round head. Coma says if there is a movie one day, he will be played by Carl Pilkington. I don't know who that is. Who's Carl Pilkington going to play? I'm looking him up now. Am I going to be played by Carl Pilkington? How fucking dare you? How dare you? Oliver Aikman says, bring back Tim Kennedy. Harry DeLuca says, is it harder to cut weight if you are Jalen Turner's build? It's not harder to cut weight because Jalen Turner looks like he's a big, lean guy. Like he's lean, physically lean, but he might just be too big for that to make all the way down to 155. The leaner you are, the better it is for you. And he looks like he's like a pretty lean guy. So you're just cutting the water out of your muscles. You're not like burning calories and that to do it. So it's not that hard to cut the weight. The biggest thing as well is not just, like I always say, it's not just you cutting the weight, it's you rehydrating properly and getting back things. So sometimes you cut too much weight. You can't, like you can make the weight and you make it relatively easily, but you can't rehydrate properly. And then that really affects you. So even like this with Gastelum, the first time cutting back down to welterweight, it's going to be interesting to see how he does that. So yeah, no, he's a lean dude. He's a big, lean, strong guy. So I don't. It's not the cutting weight, but the cutting weight to 155 will be a problem. Sean Brady's now walking in. It's going to be. I just really want to see what they're going to look like when they actually start fighting. Because fucking Brady looks big, dude. He looks like yoked for this division as well. It's just a question of whether or not he can get his game going against someone like Gastelum, who's very experienced, very good fighter. And it doesn't look good for him in the fact that he couldn't do it against Bilal Muhammad, who I don't think moves, in my opinion, anywhere near as good as Gastelum. I just don't think he does. Brady started training Muay Thai, subsequently picking up Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So, I don't know. Let's see how he goes. He's got some good wins against some decent guys, man. This is no joke. Michael Chiesa is not a joke. Jake Matthews is not a joke. You know, he's got some good wins. So, let's see how he does. Coma says, Kelvin will defend the knockout and knock him out. I think that is a possibility, my friend. That is a possibility. Oliver Ekman, he made weight. Turner, you're talking about. Coma says, I come from the future. You can trust me. I'm going to tell you something. If you come from the future, you should give me better advice than that. Like, give me investment advice. Better investment advice than this. So they're about the same height, 5'10 and 5'9. Brady's got a half an inch reach advantage. They're about the same age, 31 and 32. They're both 170. Let's see it. I can see Bruce Buffer just screaming into the microphone. Gastelum looks good. Like, he looks lean. He looks in shape. He looks good, man, does Gastelum. But like I say, I don't know. I can't say to you, yeah, this is what's going to happen when I haven't seen him fight at welterweight for a long, long time. He looks in really good shape. He looks, honestly, in really good shape. He looks really, really pumped. Coma says, look at that beautiful man. Like, he actually, honestly, really looks good. Joseph says, Bruce Buffer looks like he's about to fight for the welterweight title. No, honestly, like he does look good, does Gastelum at this weight. And Brady is a little bit stiff. I will say this, like just with his stand up and that's a little bit stiff. And Gastelum moves really well. Man, he could just drop him right off the bat. Good for Gastelum, man. I'm happy for Cody Brundy, J. I really am. Because even the last fight against Jacob, it wouldn't have been like, oh, you won that fight. Good for you. SG says, Fab, would you ever consider getting a bat? No, SG, no. We're off, guys. 4:56 to go. Gastelum controlling the center of the octagon almost immediately. He's very fast with that left hand. Oh, there's that left hand by Gastelum. Gastelum's getting his hips back. Brady trying to work that underhook, but Gastelum's already got it free. Both now Gastelum with the over under. We're looking at 40, 39, 38, 37, 36. Nice work. Gastelum's trying to make some space. Hits Brady with an elbow. His framing is Gastelum. Brady's trying to move Gastelum into the cage, which he seems to have succeeded in doing so. He's in deep on a double leg on Gastelum. And he gets Gastelum to the ground, does Brady. Good job by Brady. Brady's already attacking the back. He's a monster, this guy, off his back like this. I mean, not off his back, like at getting to people's backs. But these little legs, man, look at Gastelum's little legs. He's got both hooks in, does Brady, with 4 minutes to go. This is not good for Gastelum. This is not good for Gastelum. At the same time, this is going to take some of the zap from Gastelum's punches, definitely going to take some of the zap just having a grapple like this. And this is different to what has happening, like, say, for example, when you take someone down, they pop back up. If you can take someone down and you have time controlling them, you're able to rest a little more and they have to work very hard. He's landing some good little shots, but it's not like you're not going to hurt Gastelum like that. I imagine that with Gastelum's build, it'd be incredibly difficult to choke this guy. He doesn't seem to have a neck. It's just like chest and then a chin. So he's kind of like a big Volkanovski. But Brady's now looking for this. He's got the body triangle. Gastelum's doing a good job of defending stuff, fighting the 2-on-1. I thought he had a 2-on-1. Oh, Gastelum does a good job of getting out of there. Well done, Gastelum. Now he's landing some ground and pound on Brady. Brady's covering up. Gastelum landing some ground and pound with 2 minutes and 48 seconds to go. Brady gets to his feet. Gastelum is holding a body lock on. Now they're going over unders and now there's space. And this is where it's going to get dangerous because, so I don't know if Gastelum got dropped. Did Gastelum get dropped or he slipped? I couldn't see that clearly. I couldn't see it clearly. But Gastelum, he's got the advantage, I think. He's just got a whip, man, for a left hand, and he hits super hard. He can crack. And there's 2 minutes and 21 seconds to go. Gastelum reaching on that left hand. And the way he steps through, because then he gets a little bit closer and makes up for his range, is very clever, the way Gastelum does that. Eats a little right hand off Brady, but he's got granite chin, does Gastelum. Eats another right hand from Brady. But I don't think Brady wants to play this game where you're exchanging shots with a Gastelum like this. Oh, a Gastelum gets hit with a left hand, gets taken down, goes looking for a triangle. He's able to get to his knees off the triangle, but Brady once again on his back, and Gastelum his body language is not looking good. Gastelum's going to be looking for that wrist ride. There it is. There's the wrist ride from Gastelum, from Brady. Good job by Brady. He'd be incredibly difficult to hold down Gastelum like this. I don't think Gastelum has carried over the same chin that he had at middleweight at this division here at welterweight. He just seems to have been, like, his reactions to getting hit off a guy like Brady, who, no offense to him, is not the greatest of strikers. After seeing the shots that he has been able to take at middleweight, it doesn't seem that he doesn't seem like to have the same chin at welterweight. And seldom do people have that when they move up in weight as they get old, down in weight as they get older. It just takes the fluid from your brain. Gastelum does a good job of getting back to his feet. Gets to high parterre. Now he's fighting the hands, get his legs kicked out from underneath him. And Brady once again is looking to take the back. Brady's looking for that choke on Gastelum. This is incredibly taxing for Gastelum. All of Brady's weight is on Gastelum, and that's the thing I was saying. Like Brady looks jacked for this division. He looks really big, and he's getting looking for the wrist ride once again. Was Brady he does such a good job of kicking that leg out and controlling the back of Gastelum. Gastelum doing a lot of scrambling, but subsequently ended up with his back taken once again with 12 seconds to go. Deep breaths by Gastelum. This would be incredibly taxing for Gastelum and definitely around in the bank for Brady. Wow, what a round. What a round. Gastelum looks like he doesn't know what hit him, dude. He's like, he doesn't know. He's like, what the fuck happened? Yeah, it's again, Gastelum's going to be very, very dangerous early on in this second round again. I'm surprised at his reactions from getting hit by Brady. And you see the shots that he's taken. Like I said, you've seen the shots that he's taken at middleweight. And that's why I said to you, even if he beats Brady now, just the shots that you've seen him take today, how he looks at welterweight, it was a big enigma to me. It was a big asterisk. I wouldn't put any money on that. It's just be guessing. And we're off, guys. We're off. Gastelum once again controlling the center of the octagon. Brady has that right hand at home. Goes looking for a left low kick, did Brady. Gastelum's still moving well. He's still got a bit of pop. Round 241, 40, 39, 38, 37, right hand. Nice work by Brady. So Brady threw a right hand, right? And then switched to southpaw and kicked the lead leg of Gastelum. And now he got Gastelum down again. I think it was with a knee pick, kind of right hand sort of thing. But he got Gastelum down. Now he's got the head control. This is what I say as well. Gastelum has him in the lockdown, right? Like in a lockdown here. But where Brady is with that shoulder pressure, especially in an MMA context, what Gastelum effectively is also doing is pinning himself. So unless Gastelum can get underneath him and to that other leg, he's just pinning himself. And see how Brady is bringing that right leg across. Well, now he passed. If he hadn't have passed, he would have kept him pinned anyways in what would effectively be a Turk ride, not necessarily, half guard anymore. Just a position he has him in with that far underhook and the head control. This is a pin, and it's incredibly taxing. So now with the body perpendicular of Brady across Gastelum, it's incredibly taxing. If you can see how he keeps pushing that right knee across, that keeps Gastelum flat on his back. This is very high-level grappling from Brady, which doesn't fucking surprise you when it's someone that has a win over Craig Jones. And I say that because, to me, Craig is unbelievable. I can't even fathom someone that's fighting in MMA and doing well, beating him in the sense of like all the other stuff that Brady would have to do. So it's very, very scary. Man, he's absolutely mauling Gastelum on the ground. There's 2 minutes and 56 seconds, 2 minutes and 48 seconds to go, I beg your pardon. And Gastelum is completely pinned under Brady, and Brady's continuing to pass. And I'll say this as well: every time that he passes and Gastelum has to get his guard back, it's incredibly taxing to that scramble that he has to do. A huge amount of isometric strength that he has to use to get himself into certain positions. And these scrambles that he's doing, and now he's not even landing in advantageous positions. He's creating a scramble with isometric contractions and then landing in a worse position than when he started. Now, big ground and pound by Brady on Gastelum. Gastelum, I've never not even against Weidman, have I seen Gastelum get owned like this. Never. Brady's absolutely smashing. Like Weidman had his way with Gastelum to a certain degree, but Weidman got dropped by Gastelum too, pretty bad in that first round. But this kind of, yeah, he was several steps behind Rob on the feet, but Rob's like a bigger version of Gastelum, better version of Gastelum, orthodox stance as well. So that is to be expected, and it's to be expected against Israel as well. He had people look at it nostalgically against Israel, but Gastelum had a couple of moments in that fight, a few moments in that fight, but Israel almost killed him. You got to understand that. And now this fight with 1 minute to go, it's been an absolute complete annihilation, like a huge domination by Sean Brady. Sean Brady's doing a great job of controlling the legs, keeping the legs above the hips of Gastelum, so Gastelum can't. No mean feet too, because these are little legs. Gastelum can't go anywhere, and right now all of Brady's weight is coming down on Gastelum, and he's landing these little shots. I cannot even begin to explain how tiring this situation is for a Gastelum. And the fact that he hasn't been finished means that in the third round, it's going to be even worse because the pop is going to be gone from his punches and Brady's going to be relatively fresh, is Brady. 23 seconds to go in this round. Brady goes looking he went for a half Nelson to try and flatten him out, but Gastelum's still making it back to his feet and gets his back taken again by Sean Brady. 9 seconds to go. He's not going to finish him, but I think he's going to finish him in the third. This is bad for Gastelum. If Gastelum can't keep this fight in the feet early in the third round and land something, which I don't think he'll have the pop in the punches to do so, he's going to get finished in this third round. SG says, Fab, would you ever consider getting a back tattoo like Brady? No, I would not. Absolutely not. Harry DeLuca says, little known fact about Fab is that he actually has a tramp stamp. Oliver Aikman says, yo, tramp stamps are badass. Joseph says, never seen Kelvin get taken down that fast. No. SG says, Brady's tats are giving me mixed opinions on green tattoos. Oliver Aikman says, great reversal. Joshua Kirsting says, let's go KG. SG says, Brady's looking pretty comfortable on the feet. Harry DeLuca says, Gastelum's midsection was scientifically created to defend against body triangles. SG says, right, for a guy who ate Izzy's punches full force, he's really feeling the smaller jabs at welterweight. Yeah, I don't think, I've never been like at least like Gastelum should fight a welterweight. I've never thought that ever. I just think that he couldn't make the weight, dude, for whatever the reason. And you see him here, and he's not performing well either. You know what I mean? So I don't know what he's going to be doing moving forward, but I don't think welterweight is a very good division for him. Brady looking for the inside kick again. There's a little exchange. I don't know what's happening in these exchanges. I don't know if Brady's actually catching him on the way in. Nice hands by Gastelum. Another knee pick by Brady. Good for you, Brady. And this will be it. This will be the fight. I think he's going to get finished here. I think he's going to last another 2 minutes or so on the bottom, and then he's going to get finished. This is what I think will happen. Brady's doing a very good job, very smart in how he's just holding him down and pinning him down. This is a pin. You know how Brady is controlling that the leg on the inside, like it's a half guard, and then he passes? That's a pin. It's not a half guard. Kelvin Gastelum has very little control over that. He's going to be the head arm choke now, and I don't think Gastelum's going to get out of this. Gastelum's going to fight. That's not going to be much of a defense. Great work there by Brady. He's just putting money in the bank, hitting the body. See, he's not forcing himself to do anything, so it's not really taxing him. Now he's looking for a Kimura on the far side of Gastelum. And he's out. Yeah, he's going to finish this. Gastelum's short little arms are. He's going to finish it. He's got the head he's got the leg over the head, and that gives you immense leverage. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the wrap. Finished him by Kimura in the third round. Oliver Ekman, who beat Craig? Sean Brady beat Craig in grappling. Joseph says, I've never seen Kelvin get mauled in middleweight. He usually does the mauling. It's weird. At middleweight, he was quite a few steps behind Rob. Like Rob was all over him. Never not like this though. This was like different mauling, and Weidman had his way with him too, but not like this. You know what I mean? Not like this. Those knee picks are money, mate. Yeah, he's going to get his arm snapped here. I'm just watching the replay. Wow. Now, Fab didn't say it. Sean Brady says here, Brady faced two-time ADC submission fighting world champion, silver medalist Craig Jones at Fury Pro Grappling 3 on December 3rd, 2021, and won the match by a unanimous decision. So that's why I was saying to you that if he gets him to the ground, it's different level on the ground, and it was. But I thought that Gastelum would have more takedown defense than he did, and more pop in his punches. But I don't think he reacted well to the shots, like to getting hit at welterweight. And I don't think he has the same just energy level, the same energy level and the same. He's a big boy, like he's a big guy, even like he belongs. I think his best work is at middleweight and will always be there. Like I think he did well at certain stages, but then he couldn't make the weight. Like if you can't make the weight, you can't make the weight. It's not just how you look as well. Like you got to remember, man, I think sometimes, not sometimes, a lot of the times in MMA, like people create a narrative and then everybody just repeats it. Like I've never ever thought that Gastelum should be going back down to welterweight. I never thought that. And yeah. Kayas says, after these 2 rounds, so the first 2 rounds, how do I think JDM does against Brady? It's different because JDM has really tidy boxing and he does have pretty decent takedown defense. So, and he belongs in this weight division. Do you get what I mean? It's different. And he's active. So this is a different, I don't know about that. That's a different fight because I still think that Sean Brady's a little bit clunky on the feet. I don't think he has the best stand-up necessarily. I think if he gets anyone down, it's going to be a big problem for them, though. I do think that. SG says, I believe Brady doesn't have a wrestling background either. No, but I think he's been doing jiu-jitsu since high school, and he's got a great team. And if you live in the US, you might not have done wrestling necessarily, but at all your gyms, you're going to have good wrestlers, especially he's like black belt under Daniel Gracie, who's also has an MMA background. That's part of Renzo Gracie Philly. So you're not going to have a lack of wrestling partners or lack of wrestling ability. And he trains with guys that have had really good wrestling backgrounds. So I don't think he's going to have a massive problem there. Chill says, just how good is Beneil? I think Beneil Muhammad is a very solid fighter. I don't think that for whatever reason, that was the best look that we've had of Brady versus Beneil. That's my opinion. I not taking anything away from Beneil, good for him, but I think that it's not being. Also, when you see him fight like Leon Edwards, when you saw that fight, he was quite a few steps behind Leon. Leon looked good. I think one of the things that's happened for Beneil, in my opinion, when he got lucky. I don't want to say this, but I'll just have to say facts. The Damian Maia that he fought was past it. The Stephen Thompson that he fought was past it. Vicente Luque is a good win, good solid win. And he got a decision versus it. Sean Brady, fantastic win. But again, I don't know exactly if that's a Sean Brady that we saw tonight, if that makes sense. Gilbert Burns was injured in that fight. So when you ask me how good is Bilal Muhammad, I'd say to you he's a very, very, very solid fighter, but I think he's a step behind a Leon Edwards or someone like that. I do think that. I don't know how good he would be compared to Covington. I don't know, because Covington, I think, as well, is a little bit past it. But he was a step behind Leon when I saw them fight. Maybe he's changed. Maybe he's improved. Diego Lima, he's got a loss to Jeff Neal. I don't know. Like a shove cut or someone like that would be interesting for you to be able to go, yeah, that's how good this guy is. Harry DeLuca says it's a really good card. Just looked at the other fights. Are you talking about today's card, Harry? Because now we got Rob Font versus Davison. And again, it's another one of those things. But Davison's moving up in division. So that's always better, in my opinion, as you get older. But I don't know how he will do, because he himself is mid-30s, I want to say. Yep, he's 35. And the guy that he's fighting is also, I want to say, mid-30s, yep, 36. But the big difference here is Rob Font's not small for bantamweight. And Davison usually is the guy that's the bigger guy in the flyweight division, and he's smaller than Rob Font. Rob Font's like 3 inches taller. So I don't know how that's going to look. Again, there's an asterisk on there. I can't make I don't make like calls or stuff over stuff that I don't have any form to look at. You know what I mean? But even having said that, I got it wrong today with Beneil, Soriano, and Stoltzfus, so I would have lost money on that bet. I'm just going to skip a few of these people hanging shit on Kelvin. I'd like to see Renat Fakhretdinov versus Brady fight. Yes, would be an interesting fight. But I do think that Brady's tidier on the ground. He's just tidier, man. And I think that fight's going to hit the ground at some point. And it's going to be that. I don't know, man. It'd be a good fight, though. It'd be a good fight. Joseph says the wish version of Sean Brady for Bilal. Coma says that in the desert, his cardio was fucked. Look, I don't know. Sometimes people have bad weight cuts. Sometimes people have bad travel. Sometimes things happen in your life. Who knows? Joseph says, Coma, admit it. Kelvin owes you money. Laugh at that. You're coming after him too hard, bro. So, yeah, I don't, I was going to look something up here since we're, one second, because it was something I remember when you said that. Give me 1 second. Okay. Renat Fakhretdinov had, I remember, yes, he had a majority draw versus Dos Santos. And Dos Santos is an underrated fighter. He does have a win over Sean Strickland, but he himself is a little bit past that. He's 37 years old. Fakhretdinov is 32 years old, more or less in his peak. Then you see Fakhretdinov's other wins. There's Kevin Lee, who's runs hot and cold, feast or famine kind of guy. A win over Brian Battle, very, very impressive win. A win over Andres Michailidis, kind of okay, but it was a decision win, and a win over Eric Spicely with a KO. He's got one loss against Ahmedov back in the day, June 5th, 2013. I think they fought twice at the Igor Vovchanchyn Cup. So that was 2 fights in the one night. He won one and lost one. So having said everything that I just said then, I don't know that it's a best fight for Brady, because if I was Brady, mate, I'd be campaigning for, he's 16-1 or something with one loss to Beneil, who's right up there. I'd be campaigning for a big name, you know. I don't know that Fakhretdinov is that name, so to speak. You know, I don't know that it's has yeah. Oliver Ekman says Fab just dropping the F bomb, the Fakhretdinov. And I got the underdog in this one too. I don't know who to pick in this one again. Like I said, I don't just pick stuff or pick stuff. I like to see form, and I don't see enough form. I haven't seen any form whatsoever for me to go, I can really pick this fellow or that fellow. You know, I don't know. Figueiredo's last fight was at flyweight. He lost to flyweight Brandon Moreno. Brandon Moreno's got good jiu-jitsu. I'd say he's got better jiu-jitsu than Rob Font. Rob Font's got really good hands, and he's a little bit bigger than Davison, and Davison's generally the bigger guy. So that I don't think bears well, you know, for him. He's got a loss. It's crazy, eh? His last 4 fights have been against Brandon Moreno, and he's got a TKO doctor stoppage against Brandon Moreno. Wins that by TKO doctor stoppage. It was the last fight. Then before that, Brandon Moreno, he beat Brandon Moreno by decision, unanimous. Before that, he lost to Brandon Moreno by submission of rear naked choke in the 3rd round. And before that, they had a draw, a majority draw. So, and so there are some wars in there, you know what I mean? Like that draw was a war. You know, that draw was a war. There've been draws regardless, you know what? There've been wars regardless in these last few fights that he's had, you know. So then he's got some good wins, but you know, when you're looking at the Alex Perez win, Joseph Benavidez wins, and these are now going back to 2020, and it doesn't seem like a long time ago, but we're almost in 2024, and it's that age difference between 35 and 31 is huge. That's a big gap, you know. That is a big gap, and it's definitely a factor when you're looking at fighters. Chill says, I think Brady called out Ian Gary, unless I misheard. I think he called out Ian Gary before the fight. You know what I mean? So I think actually that'd be a really good fight. And it's smart for him to call out Ian Gary, because Ian Gary's name's popping as well. I think Ian Gary is light years ahead of him on the feet. I really do think that. I think Ian Gary's going to be a problem for him on the feet, but on the ground, it'll be too big of a difference, I think, for Brady. Can he get the fight down to the ground? I don't know. It's hard, man. It's hard to get a guy down, and the problem is keep him down. This is a big problem, because the guy's not grappling with you. Joseph says, nah, Ian Gary doesn't fight anyone over 45. Mate, you should hang your head in shame for your blasphemous comments. Rob Font is out in the octagon now at the moment. They're both there. There's a difference as well. Like there's guys that, I just want to look something up so I'm not making things up as well. Like this guy's been fighting like he's missed weight at flyweight, but he's been fighting at flyweight. Fuck, mate. Always. He's always fought at flyweight. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what that looks like. I don't know what that looks like for him moving forward. You know what I mean? Like I don't know it's good that he's moved up in weight and not down. If you could move down, but no, I don't know. And I think Rob Font's a bit of a problem because he does hit rather hard. He's got good boxing. He's tidy with his hands, and he's bigger. He's a bigger guy, and man, my internet is not working. I've managed to get it back. 3:42 of round one. I wouldn't be able to tell you what happened before, but here we are. 3:33, 32, 31. Both men in the orthodox stance. Ooh, big right hand by Davison. Rob definitely looks like the rangier guy. I haven't been able to see what happened prior to that. I don't know what's going on here today with the Sydney internet being killed by the Australian summer. Oh, big right hand again by Davison's kind of landing it like just above the ear. Davison deep on a double leg, gets the takedown. Rob Font is trying to defend, but he's like being taken down. 2 minutes and 46 seconds to go. Rob Font's doing a good job of getting himself back to his feet. But this is where I think the problem's going to be for Davison, because Rob Font looks significantly bigger than him. And I don't think Davison is used to fighting guys that are bigger. And so as this fight progresses and he loses some of the pop in his punch, he's not going to be able to take Font down and hold him down. Like, it's a big advantage to be a little heavier when you grapple. Not so much on the stand-up, but definitely when you're grappling, being heavy is an advantage if you know how to use it on top. 2 minutes to go. And then is standing up, Rob Font has the range and he knows how to use it. Oh, 1-2 landed by Font. Just landed. Oh, he goes under the left hand. Now he goes to the back of Davison and he's looking to ride him over here. Good job by Font. Font looking for a mat return. Doesn't get it. Good balance by Davison. Davison works his way out of it. I don't think Rob Font actually really was trying to get him down. You know what I mean? Just making him think. Nice little jab by Font. Davison moving around the octagon. Looking for a big right hand is Davison. Rob Font lands a good little jab. Man, do not underestimate what a jab does to you and what it does to your cardio if you're eating jabs and being forced to move backwards. Little left hook lands by Davison. Right hand by Davison lands on Rob Font. He goes looking for a right rip to the body and lands it. Misses with a big right hand over the top. Man, when you swing and you hit air, that affects your cardio more. If you don't believe me, go outside, just throw punches as hard as you can in the air. You're going to gas. Swing big swings. He's in deep on a double. Isn't able to finish it. I don't think, because my fucking internet froze again. Why is it doing this to me, mate? Why is it doing this to me? 17 seconds to go in the first round. 12, 11, 10. Oh, Rob Font, 8-1. 8-1. He was kind of like bits. He got wobbled. He definitely got wobbled, did Rob Font. Man, my internet keeps freezing. I am. Harry DeLuca says, Davison doesn't seem like he's outmatched strength-wise. He probably isn't strength-wise, but size-wise he is. And we'll see how it plays out like throughout the fight. Because if you're a little bit longer and you just have a different, like a better frame for that weight division, as the fight progresses, it starts to accumulate on you. But I can't say anything because I can't see the fight. My internet is not working. And I'm too scared to mention anything to my wife because you guys saw what happened to me where I was just abused. And I live in fear. Okay, it looks like the start of the second round for me. That rip to the body was brutal, Harry. Yep, absolutely. So we're off. Second round, 57, 56, 55, 54, 53. Rob with the jabs down the middle. Figgy looking for that right hand. Nice little right kick by Rob Font. Figueiredo's got deep double underhooks, pushes Rob Font to the fence. Rob Font trying to frame on the face of Figueiredo. See, even this though, it's hard. If you're holding a guy up with double underhooks and the guy is able to just sag his weight down and hold himself up, it's hard for you to finish that takedown. And it's hard on your body as well. Man, my apologies, guys. I'm really struggling with this internet today. I'm really fucking pissed with this. My apologies, people. Obviously, not what I set out to achieve. Let's see how we're doing. I'm struggling with this internet. Absolutely struggling. Oliver Aikman says I'm about to fall asleep. Sorry, Oliver. Oh, big nut shot. That's what I've seen. I just came back to Figueiredo still holding him there and landing a massive nut shot on Font. It's looking like a very kind of scrappy kind of fight. You know what I mean? In that not a whole lot is happening. I think I'm quite a bit behind you, by the way, as well. I just want to say my internet just keeps freezing no matter what I do. I'm struggling with it, mate. My apologies, guys. I'm fighting the good fight here for everyone, but I can't see. Harry DeLuca says, I also agree you should ask your missus about the internet. No, I don't think I should, because it could end up in me fucking being buried somewhere. Okay, I'm trying to. Sorry, guys. Now it is you that has to let me know who's winning the fight. Okay. Oliver Aikman says, call up the internet provider and rip them. I should do that live on the internet. I can't believe this. All right, Devison. What I'm seeing right now is Devison has Rob Font on the ground with 1 minute and 52 seconds to go in this round. I have no idea who's winning the fight. Zero idea, because I haven't been able to watch the fight in its entirety. There's 1 minute and 41 seconds to go. Nah, my internet's fucking shit. I can't watch this fight. I don't know what it is, because I can't see. I can do this, but I can't watch the fights for some reason. Give me 1 second. I'm going to see if I can address this. All right, let's see if this works. This is my last ditched attempt. No, I actually did went and checked with my wife to see if it's slow for her, and she said no, the whole internet is slow. So I don't know. Now I'm having to watch it on this phone here, which is my wife's phone. Again, Davison pushes him into the cage. We're at the start of the third round. He's using an underhook to try and get him down. Font does a great job defending it. Big right hand by Font, misses. Font tries to jab. I have no idea what's happened in this fight. This is so frustrating. 4:30, 29. Big right hand, a swing and a miss by Davison. Okay, Rob Font pushes Davison up against the cage. They're both jostling for position here. Davison's able to get his back off the cage and he's circled towards the center of the octagon. They trade punches. Davison with a jab. Rob Font goes looking for a right hand. Doesn't find a home for it. Nice rip to the body by Rob Font. Figueiredo's ahead from what I can gather because I missed everything. Nice left hook by Figueiredo. I think he's really hurt Font. He's hit Rob Font over the top with the right hand. Figueiredo's looking really good at bantamweight. Really, really good. Not many people do this to Rob Font. I don't know how good he's going to do. He looks like he's going to finish Rob Font here. Huge left hand. But I don't know how he's going to do in this division because he does seem to be a little bit smaller than the guys like a Sean O'Malley or something like this. Oh, nice little right hand by Rob Font. Rob Font goes looking for a right hand again. Now both guys standing in the pocket and kind of trading a little bit. I think the real winner here today has been my bravery because I went and asked my wife for help and she granted it. She granted help. Nice single leg by Davison. Rob Font is finished, man. He's very tired. 2 minutes and 14 seconds to go. You'd see when he fell to the ground, he did not have any. It shows you how good this Davison is, because it is an asterisk. Great guard pass. What an unbelievable guard pass by Davison. And now he's in full mount. Davison's keeping Rob Font pinned. He's got 1 minute and 46 seconds to go. I do think that he's going to struggle, Davison, against some of the bigger guys like Sandhagen, O'Malley. They're much bigger guys. They're much, much bigger guys. And Rob Font, this performance against Rob Font is really, 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 really good. I don't know that he'd be able to do something like this though to the bigger guys in the division, bigger and younger guys in the division. But I think that this start, what I mean, is really good. Like what he's able to do, what he's been able to do is very impressive. And again, like I say, a lot of these fights in this particular card had asterisks on them, from my opinion anyways. I didn't know what Gastelum would look like at welterweight. I didn't know what Figueiredo would look like at bantamweight. And I don't know where in the careers Dariush and Tsarukyan will be, because your peak goes quick, you know what I mean? It just a little bit slower and the guys improve a little bit and then that gap's gone. And that could well be the fact of what happens today with Tsarukyan and Dariush. If it's the same Dariush that fought Gamrot, it'll be a very interesting fight. If that Dariush is a little bit slower, yeah, I think Tsarukyan will run through him. Great effort. Great effort by Davison. Wow. Joseph says, Figueiredo red stripe on his head is like those road workers who spray paint the lines on the road but hit a pole so the spray paint was crooked. Harry DeLuca says, hey Fab, hey guys, I'm setting up a GoFundMe for Fab's funeral. Any donations, just send my way. SG says, Fab's done the unthinkable, asking his wife for help. Figueiredo versus Jan would be amazing. Yeah, now that would be an interesting fight, Jan versus Figueiredo, because they're both kind of like shorter guys in that division. You know, I do think the guys are just getting big. You know, nowadays, like some like O'Malley, Sandhagen, these guys are like 5'10", 5'11". They're not. They're big guys at bantamweight. He did really well. Davison did really, really, really well. Really well. So, you know, beating Rob Font like that is, you know, puts an exclamation mark next to your name for sure. And now the main event is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be very interesting to see. Beneil Dariush is 34 years old. In 6 months he'll be 35. Like that, the age thing is something I don't like. Like when you get to a certain age, and depending on who you fight, and the guy that he's fighting is a young, hungry up and comer who's 27 years old, probably not even in his peak yet, just about to hit his peak, you know, and that's one of the things I don't like for him. You know, I don't know if he's going to, how long ago he fought Gamrot. Even that, right? The Gamrot fight, you think this like you think it was like last year, right? Like, I mean, it was last year, but you think it was a year ago. It wasn't. It was like a year and a half ago. And to me, that was one of the best performances. Oh, no. I'm fucking reading the wrong guy. I'm an idiot. Sorry. Let me see something here because they've had the same guy in comment. Yeah, no. Okay. It was a year and a bit ago. But even then, you don't know when you're watching these guys where they're at in their career. You don't know how far off they are, especially when they get to 33, 34, something like this. So you don't know if he's slowed down a little bit. So I still have an asterisk next to it. I think that it's just a funny kind of fight. One guy entering his prime and the other one leaving it. It's just where along that trajectory each of them are, you know. Oh, yeah. And there's Jalen Turner versus Bobby Green. Yes, I fucking skipped it here. It's not the main event. Sorry, man. It was pretty exciting stuff for me. I had to run around and get the phone and that. So, no, I think that this fight, yes, Jalen Turner and Bobby Green will be interesting. But again, I don't know. There's another fight with a big asterisk on it. I don't know what Jalen Turner's going to look like, how he's going to turn up. I don't know how the weight cut affected him. It's not just how you look. Like, that's what I was trying to say the whole time about Kelvin Gastelum. He looked great before the fight. You know, obviously, he didn't look good during the fight. So, yeah, I don't know how Jalen Turner's going to look making the weight on such short notice. That's a big one. SG says, the moment when Fab realizes he skipped the co-main. Joseph says, Coach, would you do me a favor? Tell my friend that a big red kangaroo can fuck up your day. Like, in a fight, yeah, for sure. Unless you're like, if it wants to as well, like, you know what I mean? There's a difference because people have seen the footage of, like, people punching it or something like that. But a lot of the times, if the Eastern greys are big too, dude. That's something people don't understand. Big reds are like tall and that, but like the Eastern greys are fucking jacked. There's a difference. Like you got to understand one thing with this. It's like if it can run away from you, like how big is the biggest red kangaroo? So it's about 1.8, so around my height, but they're like 90. The largest confirmed one that people have seen is 6'11", so 2 meters 10, right? And weighs around 91 kilograms. This is a fucking huge animal, right? And if you don't know anything about animals, right, it's not even close. Like it's not even relative, not even 1% close to how strong they are compared to us. Like my dog is a big dog. It's a Cane Corso, 60, 64, 65 kilos. How strong that dog is, it's not even close to comparable. The thing is, you see, the kangaroos are herbivores, so we're not on their fucking food chain. So unless it's protecting its herd, or it's protecting its young or something like that, or you've got it trapped, if you hit it or you punch it, they'll generally run away from you. But if it wants to get you, if it wanted to get you for some reason, like if you cornered a kangaroo and it was a big one or a mean one, like wanted to get you, the problem is it got claws and shit. So when it kicks your stomach, and they could disembowel you, and they're super strong. Yeah, that's the biggest big red that's ever been confirmed. But generally they're like my height, 180, something like this. SG says, how would you compare a kangaroo's kick? Just give me 1 sec. Now my fucking this thing's all right. Now you've got to understand something. How would you compare a kangaroo's kick to a MMA fighters? Well, you got to understand, like fighters are trained to punch and kick and everything and da 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 da. And so they have a different accuracy and a different meaning behind their shots. But like a kangaroo has fucking claws at the end of their kicks, and like I know the kangaroo tendons and that have been used like to tie stuff. Like it's very, 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 very durable, very, very strong tendons. So when they kick you, dude, like when they fucking kick you, it's stupid hard. Like they can jump so high over fences and that. So they'd kick way harder than an MMA fighter would. They're not like aiming for your fucking peroneal nerve or just above the knee kind of thing. They're just going to kick you in the abdomen, but they've got claws at the end of the kicks, so they can disembowel you. Sorry, I had to go because the thing said that there was another device watching and blah blah blah. So anyways, Oliver Ekman says, I got a mate of mine who was disemboweled by a deer. A deer with the fucking antlers on it, and that disemboweled him, but didn't kill him, but really, really messed him up. Oliver Ekman says we need racially motivated Drew Dober in there. Coma says, "Hey Fab, do you work?" I imagine that's what the WK says. What do you mean? Do I work? Like, yeah, I. Is that what you're asking me? Do I work? Because it says WK. SG says, "Hear me out. What if we train kangaroos to fight MMA? They'd fucking hurt people, man. They would hurt people badly." SG says, "Imagine a kangaroo being trained to kick the peroneal nerve, dude. Like when they kick, they can kick you from close, like 2 feet. Boom! If they really want to hurt you, they'll hurt you. They will hurt you. And when you like, if I play around with my dog, like I can't even begin to tell you how strong it is. Like you wouldn't be able to do anything if it really wanted to kill you." Coma says, "I got money on the black one in this one." Leighton says, "Figgy versus Song Gutierrez winner. That would be an interesting fight." Yeah, that would be an interesting fight. I think Figgy did really well at bantamweight. Like I said, like a lot of them have the asterisks next to them, in this particular card. Like I haven't seen what they're going to look like, what they will look like. Just as sorry, Coach Fab, didn't mean to pivot this commentary to kangaroo MMA. I don't mind, man. I don't mind. I like kangaroos. No, kangaroos, man, it's different. Wild animals, their strength in that is different. It's a different thing. Like even like you see them like get like shot or speared or something. People go out hunting a deer or whatever, and just how strong they are and how they just keep going is crazy. Like I can grapple with my dog and play fight with my dog, and I can hit him as hard as I possibly can, and it will do nothing to him. SG says, "Who would win a fight, a Siberian tiger or polar bear?" Polar bear. Polar bear's way bigger, dude. Way fucking bigger. Like way bigger. And their claws are huge, man. Their claws, their paws, and mouths are huge. I would have to go with the bear. And they have like massive amounts of like blubber and fur and muscle to stop the tiger being able to puncture um, the bodies. And bears move like really well too. The other thing though is cats, where I'll give this to the tiger, the event, the reflexes on a cat are crazy. You can't even begin to fathom it. Like you see cats around here in Australia, they kill snakes, they kill snakes, and you think like you wouldn't think that they could, but they're actually a threat to snakes. Oliver Ekman says, "That doesn't sound like play from you, Fab. What do you mean?" Joseph says, "Since you don't mind who wins, Ian Gary or a Big Red who is under 45 years old." Okay, that's the last one. A Big Red would beat Ian Gary. But again, you got to understand, it's got to be in a situation where the Big Red has to fight, because otherwise it'll run away. It'll hop away. But if it has to fight, like if you lock them in a room and it has to kick the shit out of you, it'll kick the shit out of you. It'll disembowel you, dude. That's provided that you don't cut its claws or something. SG says, "I think the polar bear is the most dangerous land animal alive, or at least the most dangerous carnivore." It's the biggest carnivore, that's for sure. And you're definitely on the food chain with it. It's like it definitely sees you as like it'll eat you. Joseph says, "First question is, would Ian Gary accept the fight?" So SG says, "I've seen videos of snakes bite the feet of cats and get left hooked." Yeah, man. Yeah, that happens, man. Joseph says, "By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching, ladies and gents." Thank you, guys. Thank you. Please like and subscribe. Sorry, today's been a little bit clunky, I'm going to fill up my water bottle. All right. We're about to begin round one, ladies and gentlemen. Both guys ready to go. And we're off, ladies and gentlemen. Both men in southpaw stance. Bobby Green launches himself at Jalen Green. Jalen Green's huge, man. He's huge for this division. Bobby Green seems to have hit a new gear recently. Oblique kick by Bobby Green. Jalen Turner, nice front kick up the middle. I was just about to say, I haven't seen enough front kicks being used by Jalen Turner. Doubles up on the jab, does Jalen Turner. When he does that and extends out, you can see how long his reach actually is. And it's crazy. But he's not using it the best. He's not using it as great as I thought he would. He is very long. Nice. He said, man, Bobby Green's doing a really good job of kind of blitzing in with that right hand. Oh, Jalen Turner came very close to really landing that shot. Oblique kick goes missing for Bobby Green. Oh, nice left hand lands by Jalen Turner. Oh, swing and a miss by Jalen Turner. It's an awkward style, is Bobby Green. Jalen Turner goes looking for a left high kick. Clinching there by both men. Left front kick by Jalen Turner. Pace of this fight's very slow. Oh my God. Bobby Green got dropped bad. I don't know exactly what the ref's waiting for because Jalen Turner is landing. Does this ref fucking hate Bobby Green? Do you fucking hate Bobby Green? Why wouldn't you have stopped that fight earlier, man? What the fuck is wrong with you? Man, Bobby Green's completely gone. Like, he landed about 27 more shots than what was necessary. Like, it was bad, dude. Like, it was really, really bad. I don't know why, like, as I'm watching it, I'm like, all right, he landed it so bad. He gets out of the way and then they're standing here. He'd been hit earlier too. He got hit with a little left hook. Then he ate a big right hand and then he's face down. 3, 4, 5. Look, but he got hit just before that. This one was behind the ear and dude lands fucking face down. He lands face down. All right. Then it's 1 on the ground. This is 2, 3. I don't know. He must have landed 10 shots. And you know, the thing is, you don't see where Bobby Green is right now because they're doing the replay. He's probably still like on the ground. This whole time, he just got up off that stool. And he's like wobbly too. Like this whole time he was on that stool. I do not understand. Like, to me, once a dude bellies down and you land 2 or 3 shots, this is the thing I'm going to say. And people can argue. People can say, Well, he might have escaped. That's not the issue. That's not the point. That's not even how the rules work. It's if you can't intelligently defend yourself, if you're face down and you're getting hit and you get two, Leighton J says, I counted 23 on the floor. Yeah, 23 is 20 more than I was about to say. If you're face down on the ground and a dude lands 3 shots on you and you're not defending yourself, you're face down like this. I'm face down on the ground, like in judo when they defend, like when they get face down, you're face down like that, and a dude gets on top and goes 1, 2, 3. That's a fight. In my opinion, that's a fight. According to the rules as well, like you're showing that you can't intelligently defend yourself. The rules do not say can't intelligently defend yourself, but you may think that this guy may one day win again. That's not the fucking question. The question is, can he intelligently defend yourself? And you can't. If you're face down, like you're no longer now trying to hip escape, you're no longer trying to roll, you're no longer trying to like offer any type of offense or anything. You just got your like hands here and you just, that's not intelligently defending yourself, by the way. That's because you're still taking the shots. SG says, right, face down plus 3 unanswered shots means the fight is over. I think so. That's my opinion, you know? Like, I think 3 shots when you're face down is more than necessary. Like, 1 shot even when you're face down. Like, it's, especially, you got to understand as well, especially how did the guy drop? He got hit and he dropped face down like that. I think that is what's insane. That's why when people criticize the refs and they're like, oh, he called the fight too early. And I think, man, I'd rather you call the fight early every single time than some shit like that happen. Look at this. He's already wobbled and he got hit and he dropped. So here he hits him with this little left hook kind of thing a little bit earlier. He was already wobbled. Then he hits him with the right hand. Head bounces off the ground. And then look, he keeps hitting him, and the ref's like, fuck him, he's breathing. Keep it going. Stop him breathing. Stop it. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Stop the fight, dude. Yeah, you got to understand as well, 3 shots is a lot. And I'm giving you that. 3 shots, all right. Like the amount of shots that landed that time was insane. Jalen Turner, good for him. Took the fight short notice, got the win. It was clunky today, people. My fault. My apologies. There's Dariush. Dariush looks like a dude that's like not an accountant yet, but he's studying to be an accountant, and he still goes and trains, you know, still does weights and gets fit and that, but he's studying to be an accountant, but he's a mature age student. You know, good guy, solid guy, you know, does weights and has done a triathlon before. Arman Tsarukyan looks like straight out Russian outfit guy. Leighton says, I want to see Turner versus Doba. That would be a war. Yes, it would be. Yeah. So, yes, it would be. Oliver Ekman says, no, Turner's going to have to take more time off because he hurt Green. Chill says, type of guy that goes back to college in his 40s. Yeah, but he's a good dude. You know, he works all day at some law firm or something, or accounting firm. Then he goes home. Plays with his kids, but then he goes after that and does nighttime classes, you know, to get his master's or his MBA or something like that. That's what he looks like. Joshua Kirstein says, I'm rallied behind Dariush. I'll go for Dariush in this fight. I'm not going to lie to you. I go for him. That doesn't mean that I think he's going to win. Like I said, it just depends where on that spectrum each of them is. Like, is he out of his prime just a little bit and Tsarukyan entering his prime? Who knows? Because Tsarukyan gets better between every fight. He absolutely does. But I think that if Tsarukyan can't just spark him, it's going to be difficult. Joseph says, Dariush needs a sponsor from Just for Men. Leighton J says, in Aussie slang, we can say Dariush is a top bloke. Yes, he is, mate. He seems to be. Joseph says, Dariush looks older than Coach Fab. He does. Joseph Dariush looks like those kids that looked middle aged. Like he looks like if you saw a photo of him when he was like 10, he'd still look middle aged. He looks like one of those dudes who's always been middle aged. He looks younger now than he did when he was younger, you know. But I'm a fan, and I'm going for Dariush. So having said that, Tsarukyan's an animal, and he'll probably going to get it done. That age is a difficult one, like that 33, 34 versus like a monster like Arman at 27. That's a big one. Leighton J says it's that Middle Eastern gene in him, man. He had a beard by 14. Yeah, easily. He had a beard by 14. Working the door at nightclubs at 14. I must refill my water bottle. I just drank half a liter of water in like 30 seconds. I'll be back. Joseph says Dariush must have had a fun childhood. Imagine never getting carded buying booze or cigs. I don't think anyone would have ever asked him for ID, ever. Ever. It's going to be interesting, man. Joseph says Sean Brady versus Dariush would be a cracker fight. The problem with that fight, I think, not that this matters, but Craig Jones has a very quick win over Dariush in jiu-jitsu. Like I think it was 76 seconds by heel hook. And Brady has a win over Craig Jones in jiu-jitsu. Gilbert Burns is a few times over world jiu-jitsu champion, which is big time as well. Different rules. But Dariush hits much harder. Like he's much more fluid on his feet. I think Dariush gets a win over Brady, my opinion. My humble opinion. I was going to say something else. Oh, it's about this fellow's jiu-jitsu, Dariush. Yeah. So 2012, he was a silver medalist at Brown, at the World Jiu-Jitsu Championships. This is a big deal, man, because this is 10 years ago. He was a brown belt. So 10 years ago, he was a brown belt. And 10 years ago, he took a silver at Worlds. And in 2010 at purple belt, he took a silver as well at Worlds. In 2009, he was a blue belt and he took a silver medal. So you're looking at, like, this guy's been around for a long, long, long time as a grappler. He has a very, very decorated long history of grappling. Like I think he'd get the better of most people on the mats. Whereas Arman has grown up wrestling, but he just recently won the middleweight Naga division for experts. So we're talking about some fucking high credential grappling here. Joseph says, when Dariush walks into a strip club, he cards the one who cards the bouncer. So now the walkouts begin. But he's also 34, 35 years old. This is a problem against a guy that's 27 and just getting better. I think with Arman, you're looking at a guy that has the potential to not only be the lightweight champion in a couple of years, but be one of the best ever as well. I honestly think that. Because one of the things that I've noticed with him, kind of like an Islam, is that like their striking really like, whereas like there's criticism with Khabib striking a little bit, but these guys, their striking is getting better at every turn. You know, I think someone like Gamrot, for instance, I know he works on his boxing, but he just doesn't seem to have that fluidity in his boxing. Joseph says manifesting some high level grappling. I hope to see some really high level grappling exchanges. I really enjoy it. Um, but, you know, really good striking is really good as well. Tsarukyan just looks like a fucking monster, powerful guy. And he just does. He just gets better in between every fight. So it's very hard to gauge. He looks more jacked as well than I've ever seen him. He just looks more jacked in this fight. Like just looking at him like this, he looks more jacked than I've seen him before. This fight could end very, very quickly. I do think that there's a good chance that this fight ends with Tsarukyan knocking him out, you know, early. Or if it goes beyond that, and Dariush has got tidy hands, man. He's got tidy hands. Um, it could go longer, and then I tend to favor Dariush just because of the style. But early on in those first 8 minutes, this is not going to be a fun fight for Dariush, I don't think, early on. Because Tsarukyan's a very powerful individual. Beneil Dariush is 5'10", and how tall is this little mountain of muscle, Arman Tsarukyan? What? It says he's 5'7". And so he'd be like a little tank, man. If he is in fact that height, he'd be just like a little tank of a man. But he will be shorter. And it's not just the reach with your hands, it's also reach with your legs and whatnot that can affect if he is in fact that much shorter, because I don't know how accurate these things are as well. They've both got 72-inch reach, but they measure that as wingspan, and that's not really accurate. Like a lot of these shorter guys are really broad, and so they got these massive reaches. Like you think they have these, but they don't. They're just really, really broad because they measure it as a wingspan. And it makes sense. If you're fighting at lightweight and you're 5'7", you're probably a jacked little dude. You'd have to be. He looks he looks so fucking jacked for this fight. Does what's his name? Arman Tsarukyan. Koma says, "What is that music?" I'm not sure which music you're referring to, as I can't hear it. Dariush is taking his sweet time. Dariush looks in good shape too. Oliver Ekman says, I wonder if Beneil got his Tesla yet. You would hope so. That was a long time ago. Koma says he did. All right. Now getting ready. He's singing at the top of his lungs is Beneil. What time is it over there, Oliver Ekman? Joseph says, Dariush looks like he's about to guide animals 2 by 2 towards the ark. Oh, my God. What time is it where you are? You're in Iowa. What's the time? Because they're fighting where? In Texas? A lot of handshaking. He shook everybody's hand, did Dariush, that he could get his hands on. There was not a hand there that he did not shake. I'm a Dariush fan, man. I hope he gets his done. I'm going for Dariush, but I don't think he will get it done necessarily in those first 8 minutes. Like as in, like it's going to be very hard for him in these first 8 minutes. 34-27. But after that, if he can get his boxing on, and I think he'll become very hard to take down, and I think the fluidity of his boxing is going to be better. But how hard Tsarukyan hits early on is going to be a bit of a problem. Oliver Ackerman says, only 8:42, but I've been up since 4. Wow. Dariush looks like he's about to bring the 2 stone tablets from the mountain, says Joseph. And Oliver Ekman says 8 minutes. It could go 25 minutes, though, Ekman. We don't know this. It was Tsarukyan. We're there, Oliver. We're with you, brother. We're all with you. It's been a weird card. Like, it's been a good card, but a weird card. You know what I mean? Like, and just kind of like different fights gone different ways. It's just, yeah. And also my internet wasn't working, so that probably doesn't help. Or a KO slam. Okay. Arman Tsarukyan, mate. Now, he's a very powerfully built guy. He's exceptionally broad. Like, he's really, really broad. Very intimidating the way he yelled at Bruce Buffer then. I'm looking at this phone. I have to watch the fights on this little phone because the internet won't work. And my wife's phone has got a tiny little screen thing on it. He does look like a religious figure, does Dariush. It's a Syrian flag that we just seen. And both fighters to the center of the octagon. Yeah, Dariush is significantly taller. They touch gloves, shake hands. A very serious cat is Tsarukyan. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. They go to touch gloves. They touch gloves. Dariush in the southpaw stance. Tsarukyan in orthodox 54, 53, 51, 50. Inside kick by Dariush. Dariush went looking for a left high kick as well. Good thing to do as well, especially with a heavy hitter like Tsarukyan that keeps his right hand. It'll force him to keep his right hand at home. So that's very, very clever work by Dariush to throw that left high kick up the middle. Well, not up the middle, but up high. The left high kick's going to be a good weapon to use. And it keeps a distance, you see, like it makes Tsarukyan not be able to just run in like with impunity. Nice little jab by Dariush. Big overhand left by Dariush. Oh, right. Oh, he killed him. He killed him. Stop the fight, ref. Stop the fucking fight. Stop the fight. Stop the fight. He killed him. What a huge knee up the middle. Sleeps him. Sleeps him. Absolutely sleeps him. I'm assuming that he knows these people, not just hugging randoms. Mate, fucking incredible. Just huge power, you know, huge power. I'm a little bit disappointed that they didn't let him hit him 27 times when he was unconscious. If that other ref would have let him. Yeah, man. Which makes this interesting, you know, at lightweight. This knee up the middle. Boom. Then the right hand right on the chin. Absolutely starches him. Wow. And that was always going to be the danger with Tsarukyan, that, especially that early on, you know. Wow. And then it's going to be interesting, you know, like guys like Charles Oliveira that are in there. I'd love to see those fights. Obviously, the Islam fight. There's some fights there to be made in that lightweight division. That was very, very, very impressive. I don't know if the knee fully landed, but if it didn't land, it still kind of made him lift his head up. And that it was the right hand that landed right on the chin. Oh my God, what a shot. That was a huge, huge shot. And I think just like that as well with Dariush, I don't think you're going to see like another title run or anything like that. Like that's just how quick it goes. You know what I mean? And that's why I think as well, you can't kind of take certain things for granted. Like you can't be like, it's a hard one. Like he had 1, 6, 7 fights in a row. And I do think that Dariush of a little while back would have been like when he was on his run. I think that Dariush would have been really impressive, and especially against the younger Tsarukyan, you know. But after he's lost to Alexander Hernandez, like he's had a whole bunch of wins, you know, like that really, really good wins against Diego Ferreira, which was a split decision win, but still win nonetheless. Gamrot, a good win against him. Ferguson. So he had some good wins. He has been caught before a few times by Edson Barboza as well, but he had his run. My point of the matter is, like, when you have that run, you have to be going for the title shot. You know what I mean? Because now you're 34 years old, lost 2 in a row. I don't think he's going to get any of those fights again. But that is what it is, guys. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Sorry about today. It was very, very clunky. Very, very, very clunky. Had problems with the internet. So, yeah, no, thank you so much, guys. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already and hit the notification bell. Dariush fighting a guy like Poirier or Gaethje anymore. I don't see that either. I think that he's taken some big shots. Thank you, guys. Thank you very, very much. So I really, really appreciate it. What did Oliver Ekman say? Trying to get that mod. Thank you, guys. We will have a discussion about this later on. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. So take care, guys. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell and let us know what you think in the comments below. Tell me who you think everyone should fight next. Thank you, guys. Take care.